Alrighty guys, welcome back to the WGL EU Season 4, Match Week 11, Playday 1 of 2, one of the final two, and into the final game, eSuba up against the Drooling Leprechauns. Two teams some who've surprised and some who've kind of shied away from the spotlight a little bit there. You know, eSuba occasionally picking up some good results, but not really finding their form, I feel.
You know, eSuba right at the bottom of the table, pretty much guaranteed to be relegated. Only one win under their belts, so a little bit of a disappointing season for them. I thought they would do a lot better than they have been. And the Drooling Leprechauns have done significantly better. As I said before, this is the fight between Freefall and Drooling Leprechauns for 7th place. Freefall lost. Yeah. So Drooling Leprechauns now have a really good chance, but they still need to win.
Well, their chances against eSuba, as you said, team not quite performing just yet. Melly, if people at home did want to get involved with us here in the studio with their predictions on this game coming up, how can they do so?
By simply heading over to facebook.com/WGLEU, where I'll post a comment. No, a post. I'll post a post.
Post the post.
I'll post a post, yeah. Where you find a link which leads to the poll where you can vote for your favorite team and leave your prediction in a little tiny form field. And by doing that, you get the chance of winning one of 3 bonus codes by guessing right, obviously. And the bonus codes contain a T2 Lite, 1k gold, 7 days of premium, and a garage slot. And of course, another way of winning is getting into the conversation via Twitter. I will reward 3 tweets of the day after every match day. And the only thing you have to do is tweet what's on your mind and use the hashtag WGLEU. It's still kind of a tongue breaker, I'm sorry. And yeah, if you have any questions for our experts, just fire them right away and maybe I'll ask your question next. Question time with Melly.
Hashtag.
It's a new thing. It's up and coming. So we do need to start looking towards the lineups at least and who these teams are and who we need to be keeping our eyes on. So why don't you take me through who we can look at here?
Well, eSuba have been disappointing, and I think that might actually be their problem. They just don't seem to have the players, and maybe some internet connection issues from their part as well, because they just don't hit the shots they need to. Like the basic shots they're missing. And really, if you're going to have to do 800 damage or 0, but you can't hit that 800 damage, it's a big deal when you're talking about these small margins. Drooling Leprechauns, of course, Jack's been fantastic. Corrects has been absolutely on point. But again, they need more experience, and without Muppety, who's gone obviously to the Finnish army, like every one of his age. Conscription obviously still out there. It's a big blow to them. They have added a new player, Finnish Kebab, which I didn't even know was a thing, which I have to do at some point. But
yeah, I'm not sure even what it is.
No, coming from a country like Germany where kebab is like the only kind of fast food,
yeah,
it doesn't make sense. Yeah,
who knows? Maybe it's delicious.
It could be great. Could be unruly. I have to query him a little bit more. But double T698, MX 3090 times 2, MX 5100 double tier 1 for Drooling Leprechaun Steps is the first map. Double AMX 3090, double T69, double tier 1 is going to be the eSuba Intel Watt lineup.
Yeah, so lineups are made. Your predictions going into Steps, and we've said already this is generally a drawn-out map. Do you think we'll see a winner?
I like eSuba. They do better on open maps than they do closed maps because of their ability to play the MX. Yeah, so I'm going to have to put it towards them, just for this one at least.
I think in theory, I'm with you, but I feel the Leprechauns, I don't know, they can be so passive sometimes. We'll have to wait and see, I think. I want to see how the first game goes down, see what we're going to see from these two today, because sometimes eSuba can be great, they can be creative, they can do well in those 1390s, they can play fast, they can play smart. Sometimes that doesn't always appear, and the same can be said for the Leprechauns. They can be quick, but sometimes we see them being extraordinarily passive and very defensive in their game styles, even when they do have the clear advantage. So I'm curious to see what we can expect from these two. I think overall, I think we're both going to agree it's a Leprechauns game.
Yeah, could be.
Could be. Okay, well, the vote's still out, so guys, do get involved. The teams are ready. Let's get underway in the first map, Steps. Alrighty, so welcome into the first map here. As said, it will be steps, and in the north in blue, it's going to be eSuba facing off against the Leprechauns in south in red. And what are these two going for first of all?
Well, eSuba are always a bit peculiar. I have to stay with their kind of tactics. Burgett heading over towards spotting the right side. Stanley, KKT, Gamba, the two hull down tanks heading that way as well. There's Koskos in the middle of the AMX 1390, Twixie in support in the tier 1, and Fluky going right. So eSuba kind of covering all the bases. As for Dream Leprechauns, as from the south, they've gone left. A couple in the middle, the T69 trying to get some shots down. Los Koskos and Jack exchanging a little bit. So good information for both teams. It could be a quick map.
It could be. We'll have to find out if anyone's actually made the move off the back of this. Kirex going quite aggressive early on. He's going to back out of this, but all in all, a bit unique from both sides. As you said, you know, Sensei on the left side, he got a little bit of damage done towards him first of all. And we are still seeing the sweep across the map. Message coming through. Kebab, the new addition, joining in. Oh, Message taking one on the back then. Where the hell did that come from?
I have no idea. Was that a team damage? No, can't be.
It looked like it connected on the back side. I really am not sure. No one's in that position, but it looks like the Leprechauns are getting pretty aggressive here.
Yeah, going to go straight through the middle. Los Koskos just got out of that position because he had to spot them out, and Fluky's there in defense. Koskos receives a shot.
Yeah, Message going to give that one through there. Does get the nice connection as now Jack gets in place. Kirex as well, and Sensei into Hello splitting around on that, well, west flank, looking for maybe a couple of tanks out of position. Make sure there's no one waiting in these rocks as well, obviously, and maybe support the 1390s through the middle. But very aggressive start from these guys. Is that going to force a move out of eSuba, or are they just trying to weather the storm at the moment?
Well, they're trying to weather the storm because they got Stenley in the T32, which can just sit hull down. But Dream Leprechauns are putting a lot of pressure on at the moment, and they forced eSuba away from what they want to do, and that's gain the middle ground. Dream Leprechauns saw it. They put more resources towards there, and they basically said, no, you're not going to have that middle ground. We're going to play our style of play. We're not going to let you kind of get any information and important points on the map. So I think Dream Leprechauns definitely being the better team at this point in time, but eSuba, you know, they have that trench side, which is always dangerous. Burgett, Los Koskos have come forwards in the AMX 1390, Snake Eye Finn and the Message are only the ones that can actually stop this one if they decide to push, but rarely do we see two AMX 1390s pushing on their own, especially when Kirex is just around the corner and would spot them out pretty much immediately. So eSuba defending the cap, looking towards the enemy's cap for sure, and Dream Leprechauns, they're keeping a little bit of everything everywhere. A couple in the middle, come over towards the left side, which is probably going to be the most likely route of attack. Come around from the back, take out Twixie, and then move on to Fluky and the rest of the team from Dream Leprechauns.
We'll see if they can do that here. As you mentioned, a couple of tanks adjusting around. Snake Guy Finn does get absolutely smashed to bits by Burgett. Now this could spur on some moves, but we did say earlier on that Kirex did fall back to the south. He's at 1390, sitting into a defensive position, just trying to make sure no one can really get towards that cap in case it does happen. As you said though, having these tanks push forward for the Leprechauns could be dangerous. They could get overmatched in the south, but it looks like they're going to continue moving on to Hello with Message pushing further down towards the north, and Twixo is at the end of this kind of railroad. I think Message looking for a shot there. Not going to find it too easily. I think he's aware of where he is. Maybe leaving to Hello to move forward. I mean, he's going to be blind firing out towards south. They certainly don't know where he is yet, but Hello knows he's been spotted, so surely going to be able to find him out pretty damn fast.
Twixo should just be shooting now. 50 meter might be too late.
Oh, maybe expecting on a little bit of support from his teammates. He doesn't take him down. Oh, finally Twixo does get him done. But still, that was a little bit close for comfort. And Stenley in the process did get tagged up, did get damaged. And there we go. Message will deliver towards Twixo. And we are seeing that tier 1 now being removed. So tier 1 for tier 1, although obviously the advantage still with eSuba in tanks alone. But I'd say the damage quite even overall. No one's really got a huge advantage, but still a little bit in favour to the Leprechauns.
Yeah, but what the Leprechauns now have is that right side completely, and that's their route of attack if they want, because Stenley is on his own. It would be a great route of attack if Dream Leprechauns, they haven't seen it yet. Jack and Kirex need to start moving forward. Sensei's still in there, 5100 at the back. But Message can't play on his own. He's the team captain, of course, an extraordinary player. He's sitting third in terms of efficiency rating for a very long time in the league in general, and really an extraordinary guy. I think he's going to have to show his team really how he does his magic, and be a backbone for his team in general. So Dream Leprechauns, strangely enough, not making a move. eSuba, they have a lot more options now. They've pushed forwards. Burgett and Los Koskos have basically taken the base. And some shots are going to make their way towards the middle. Bug, it doesn't land any though, so you probably have to reload before he makes the next action.
And I'm surprised the Leprechauns haven't made more of a move out of this. Maybe waiting on Message to get a couple of shells, or maybe get some more spots. Obviously, lacking both tier 1s can be a problem here, but all in all, it's quite surprising seeing Message seeing this, you know, far forward yet not really making much of a move out of it. Kirex waiting on that reload to come back available, maybe gonna just keep eyes on the south. That's fairly normal, but Jack and Kebab not really wanting to join the fight. Sensei also in the middle, and well, let's see if any of these shells do come through towards those T-69s.
Yeah, they're in good position though. So it might be hard to connect. Kirex still over towards the left, and you know, again, we're seeing a pretty slow Steps, a little faster than the last one, but you know, we talked about it before. On a map like Steps, which is not particularly decisive and you can easily draw out, you already want to be doing that. It's really the later games that you want to be going for. But it receives a lot of damage.
Yeah, Birgit getting caught out quite drastically then, down to around 420. Of course you get taken down to that HP, and now Message has to fall back here. Kirex still in that defensive position, but now might need some support, as they know there's a good couple of tanks now down towards the south, and they need to start keeping that in mind. But Message actually not going to fall back. We're just going to continue forward, maybe fancying his chances here as Kirex adjusting around as well. You know, who's in the better spot right now? Because both are kind of doing the similar thing, but eSuba seem to have more tanks into the south these days.
I don't understand what both these teams are doing. They're both sitting next to the enemy team's cap with nothing to stop them from capping.
And neither are capping.
Neither are capping. This makes no sense at all. You know, what Druid Leprechauns are doing sitting in the middle, I have no idea. It makes no sense. That doesn't compute. And eSuba sitting next to the cap really makes no sense, and you know, they should be doing something with it. They kind of got themselves back towards the base, but both these teams, if they wanted to, could win this within the next one minute. Easily.
And maybe this whole gotta draw out the first map thing is just, you know, psyching them out of actually going for these wins, even when it is on a plate. And at the moment, finally, we're seeing those T-69s move up, but Stenley now being spotted out might slow this down. But actually, why not speed it up? He's on fire, having to back away down low. He's down at 146 HP. That is unbelievable. He's down to nothing, and for such a hefty tank to be taken down to that early on, this spells trouble now.
That was 780 odd HP just ripped
Gone.
off him. 2 shells, I think that was, or something. So that's like 400 damage from the shells, 480 from the shells, and 300 from just the fire alone. That's the potential of fire. These guys are not using, most of them don't use fire extinguisher. They prefer to use, for instance, the Coca-Cola. A couple of shells heading towards Fluky, 256 left on in, and I think Dream Leprechauns, they now have enough of advantage to push forwards.
Well, the cap has begun. Kebab there, Jack there. The cap being started off by Sensei and Kirex. Message already went on the flank earlier on, did pick up the kill towards Stenley. The rather wounded, hefty tank at the stars. Now we're seeing the counter cap getting into play. Well, I've got to say, though, the Leprechaun's substantially faster on this one. These two just waiting it out, and you're seeing Jack now moving forward, gets caught out by KKT Gambo. A little bit of a back and forth coming in. Jack held in place, gets a little bit of fire coming through. Birgit and Fluky splitting off towards the east side. Jack's turret's turn, and he's looking to stop these guys. Nice shot from Jack there, catching Fluky. And now 6 seconds on this. They could get this done.
You have to get this done. 2 seconds left on the cap. Birgit and Fluky trying to get back.
I don't think they've got time for this. The base has been captured, and ladies and gents, we questioned it, but the Leprechauns came up big when it mattered. And that slow building towards that cap just paid off.
Told you, 1 minute is all it would take. One of these two teams could win it, and it was hilarious because eSuba could have done exactly the same thing.
They were in
if
the
they
right
wanted.
position.
They were like around the cap. I was like, you know, capping's not easy on any map.
Yeah.
But god damn it, you're sitting right next to it. You've only got Kirex to stop you. And we've seen how that goes on Steps if one tank is trying to decap, because you can just put a tank behind it and you're fine.
Job done.
And especially with a little bit of a slow lineup from Dream Leprechauns. But they 100% deserved that win. They took Stenley down pretty low in the T32. A little bit unfortunate from him, but he
Fire,
was unsupported,
obviously.
kind of out of position, and Dream Leprechauns saw it and pounced on it.
Really nicely done to them. And this is what's occasionally impressed me with these guys. And Freefall to an extent. They've both been able to do quite good work on open maps. We saw it mostly with Freefall when it came down to the likes of Prokhorovka. They've gone for some decisive wins on there, including the cap. And the Leprechauns seem to have picked it up, obviously, against their kind of counterpart team, doing the same thing. So maybe just working it through together, you know, making sure they're both on the same even keel. So very well done to them regardless. First map under the belt. Not what I expected, obviously. Generally, as we said, Steps, unless you're quite good at it or decisive on it with those victories and feeling confident, it's drawn out. But already one map under the belt. The Leprechauns are on, you know, for a good display here. Now, next map coming up being ENSK. Bit of a switch up, obviously, going from quite an open map to quite a linear one now, obviously in the form of ENSK. What do you think we're going to get here? Who's got the edge?
Dream Leprechauns look like the better team, full stop. So I wouldn't be surprised, and they do want that 7th place. You know, no one wants to be fighting the top 3 in the Silver Series. You want to be fighting, 4th place. It's a lot easier of an opponent than the top team. So, big stakes for Dream Leprechauns. They obviously can see the potential in the team, and they want to continue that in Season 5 and grow.
Yep.
And I think they can honestly make a top 6 spot there. But, I honestly think Dream Leprechauns probably have the edge on every single map going forward. eSuba are beaten, they're wounded, and they need to lick their wounds and really regather and fix the kind of problems they've been having.
Yeah, there are some quite genuinely fundamental flaws in their game style and gameplay, which is it's a shame because they have shown occasional real potential throughout the season, but not seen on a consistent enough level to see them picking up the victories, occasionally walking away with a couple of draws here and there, a couple of standout performances, but nothing regular, nothing week in, week out, which is the big difference between them and the Leprechauns. When the Leprechauns play well, they'll generally pick up a good couple of games, they'll generally start building off the back of it, but same can't really be said for eSuba. The tactics were pretty, let's say, scary originally from eSuba. They were this fast, kind of fearless team that did catch a couple of people out, but as soon as people realized that, it was like, okay, guys, we know what we're up against. Let's just hunker down and play smart. And, when the problem is that now they were gifted a chance to actually do that kind of aggressive play, they kind of second-guessed themselves on the first map, and I feel it could be a problem coming into the second. And as you said, the Leprechauns overall substantially stronger than eSuba on pretty much every level here. But maybe eSuba can kind of pull themselves together. I'm hoping we can see a little bit more from them. What do they need to do really to get? You said they need to work on some of the fundamental stuff. The very basics at times. What's their main focus of trying to get better?
I think they need to just improve the kind of platoon skill, the 3-man platoons, just their player skill in general. They need to be hitting their shots, and they're too fast. They just need to slow down, think about everything, and be logical and iterative about everything. But lineups triple AMX5100 double IS3 for both teams.
Well, very similar lineups. Let's hope this turns out to be a very close game between these two. So, guys, let's get ready for the second map, ENSK. So, welcome into map number 2 here on ENSK, one of the city maps in the rotation, but still. In the north, in red, it's going to be the Leprechauns leading one map to the good. eSuba in the south, in blue, looking to change that. And only 58% of you back in the Leprechauns so far, not having faith in the Finns, but maybe this map will change your mind. What are we seeing from eSuba, really?
They're kind of splitting up a little bit.
Okay, I was worried looking at KKD Gambit. I was like, oh, buddies, come on. Don't do this. Did you not watch the last match?
So it's some great driving there. Straight into the back of Birgit. Receives 31 HP ram damage. But yeah, both teams kind of sitting in towards the middle. eSuba liked it from the south. They always put a tank here and typically gets caught out at some point. If it doesn't get caught out, it could actually potentially be a damaging factor for eSuba. Message... Kebab, Jack, Kirex, Turlo, Sensei, and Snake Guy Finn. Kebab guy has seriously got like a CS name. It's like all full of numbers.
That
and
is
letters.
not a CS name. That's not.
It is. They like that.
No.
The 13-year-olds that play that game like kind of like.
All right, 40-year-old man game. Calm down.
They like that kind of thing, don't they?
No one likes this kind of thing. Look at that. What is that about, Kebab Pro? You need to handle that business. That's not okay. Anyway, he is in that IS3. He'll be watching down for the likes of Fluky or anyone rotating through. Outside of that, though, we are seeing a little bit of movement. Message moving himself across. Gonna probably head down towards a 6 or 7 line. Join the likes of his other teammates. I feel like he could get a couple of shots off if he fancied it. Not gonna happen. Jack was waiting to reply if necessary. But all in all, a fairly slow start coming out from the Leprechauns, but it looks like eSuba are doing a bit of a split push.
Yeah, they've got a couple of tanks back. It would be a very interesting split push because it will be 3 versus 5 and 2 tanks that are kind of supporting So, you know, those two have basically got to be in the perfect position or start pushing immediately once the distraction becomes apparent. And eSuba and Dream Leprechauns maybe put some resources towards this. Tolo gets spotted. Kababro, Message all getting spotted as well. Actually, Message is unspotted, but you'll go 2 versus 1 against Fluky and Los Coscos.
Yeah, you can see Fluky down the end then just playing it smart, and Los Coscos does get caught out by 2. This is dangerous stuff. Message taking a lot of damage as well. Message is down a hot 917 HP, not quite half, but still a lot of damage received, and it looks like eSuba are backing away from this. Kababro chimes in with one for himself towards Fluky, and at the moment this is a bit of an even spread, but mostly still facing towards eSuba.
So, Message taken 1, and eSuba immediately on the back foot in terms of HP position. And Dream Leprechauns are just asserting themselves 100%. They're being a dominant force. They've got a clear vision, whereas eSuba is kind of floundering. They've got tanks here, there, everywhere. Really uncoordinated and unnecessary. And really, I don't see Dream Leprechauns losing it at this point. They're going to have to surround. They're going to have to try and come in from a few angles. They've taken... Los Coscos have taken a lot of damage. Fluky have taken a little bit of damage. So the weakness lies within those two. And indeed, I think the Cat might be the best option.
Well, Message and Kirex certainly weighing up the options here. So Vista has been taken down by Snake Guy Finn. So the tier 1 fight also going in favor to the Leprechauns. Jack now catching up with Kirex and Message. We're seeing Kababro rotating around as well from that 4 to maybe 7 line position, if not a little closer. We haven't really seen much of a response from eSuba. They still have 2 heavy tanks pretty much within that city area. Stenley and Birgit, and even Birgit taking a bit of damage from the likes of Jack, who did find himself in a nice position. Good cross shots towards Birgit there. 840 damage being dealt from that 5100, so nicely played out so far. More
damage going towards eSuba. This is really good stuff from Dream Leprechauns, continuously doing damage to the Czech team. And I'm not sure if it's enough for them to push, but I think it is. It's about 1.5 tier 8 tanks down. All they need to do is try and get the gun out, get a Message. Peeking around
Really
against Los
aggressive.
Coscos, going really aggressive, maybe a little bit too confident for his own good.
Yeah, this could be trouble. He's out on his own. There are 2 heavy tanks waiting for him. He's going to take one on the risk of crossing. He's got a player behind him though. Gets the exchange with Los Coscos, but is it enough to take him down? Message luckily soaks that bit of damage up. Can he get a shell back? Finally, Sensei comes in support, but that was dangerous, and out on a bit of a limb here. Finally, Kirex comes in to save the day, maybe. A Sensei gets Twixo down as well, and this is going very much in favor to the Leprechauns. Cap has begun. Fluky not too far away, but the early damage towards Birgit there is going to just really come into effect in the next couple of seconds.
And Los Coscos going down was a big disaster. He should have hit that shot against Message. There's no reason he shouldn't have. He went for the easy one, and he definitely got punished for it. Cap on the way, only 1 tank. Kirex there, doing more damage towards Stenley.
Yeah, 1 tank now made 2. We are seeing Message coming in, getting that beautiful position on in that IS-3, and this is going to be very hard for the Super Boys to actually undo. 19 seconds left. They need to play this one perfectly. Message near on a 1-shot here, needs to be careful, but Sensei backing him up. We're seeing the fire coming in towards Stenley initially. He's going to make the move forwards. Kirex and Message still holding ground, taking damage though. Sensei not able to support. Kababro and Jack not really in the action just yet. They're holding the cross. There they are, kicking in. Jack and Message picking up kills each. Snake Guy Finn round the backside, getting the spots out. And let's bear in mind here, the Leprechauns yet to lose a player, but here comes the move towards Fluky, to Hello, Jack, Kababro, all folding in towards him, and there's a damage-dealing blow from Fluky coming through, as now KKT Gambo, last man standing and last man alive, and hell, he is beaten black and blue, taking over, well, a hell of a lot of damage, down to pretty much nothing. The ram even comes in from Snake Guy Finn, but it's Kababro to just hand that on a plate, and still, the Leprechauns maintain all players and pick up the map.
Textbook stuff, great stuff. And eSuba, you could see they had no clear vision. They didn't play well. There was no communication. There was no coordination. Those are the most important things in World of Tanks in general, the 4 points. And they did nothing of them. They had 2 tanks unsupported. There are 3 tanks in the city which weren't doing anything. You got to kind of play together. Dream Leprechauns basically just put them in half. And a lot of missed shots. Los Coscos should have hit that shot against Message. That would have been like a 1-for-1 exchange, which I think would have been a good thing for eSuba, but they'd already taken so much damage by that point. It was disastrous. And Kababro also played very well. I can actually look how much damage these guys did. Jack did the most, and Message, Kirex, the Sensei. Only Jack hitting about 2.6k because he could just have so much free shots. So 2-0 Dream Leprechauns, and eSuba crumbling once again.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried when I saw messages moving in like that. It was a little bit like, oh, okay, this guy's just going
He's
all
so
in.
much confidence. It's unbelievable.
It could be the downfall sometimes, but obviously it does give you a way in, and you do sometimes need that guy to kind of open things up, and he did do really well to get into that position straight away and get that cap going, but still slightly dangerous. Maybe against a slightly more competent team, they could have really made a bit of a point out of that one, but still, they did pick up the map, and that's the important part. Now, Prokhorovka being next, I've generally gone on about how only very certain teams are actually able to pick up a victory on this. I feel that Leprechauns occasionally can be that side if they go for the caps, which we've seen already coming out on the other open map steps. Do you think this could be a victory for them here, or maybe eSuba actually has something to say? Because they do like those T69s occasionally. We've seen the Voodoos picks it up. I'm not seeing him in the lineup today, so I don't know. But still, maybe a chance, or is this going to be a Leprechaun map?
The last 2 times Green Leprechauns have played Prokhorovka, at least from the south, they've lost. Bad coordination. They're too slow to the positions. Prokhorovka is about getting to a position and then fighting from there. But Green Leprechauns don't have any direction. They don't know where they're going on this map. I hope they trained it a lot and they've improved it. Quadruple AMX 1390, TC9 double tier 1, so classic eSuba stuff. Good to see. And from the south, from the north, it's going to be a Pershing T69, T32, double MX 13 double tier 1 from the Finnish team Green Leprechauns.
And does that indicate much what sort of play we're going to see from the Leprechauns? It's quite a hefty lineup. It's not exactly quick. It doesn't look like an initial engagement. If they were going to go for the win, how can they do it with that sort of lineup?
I think they're going to go more towards the middle. Probably more likely.
Yeah?
I think actually starting from the south. They're going to go towards the middle, play it out, go hull down. And then once they have that kind of advantage, they can also just go over towards the city, because it's not actually that much space between the forest road and then the city. It's pretty small. It's like 400 meters, maybe 500.
There's certainly a chance there for it. I'd like to see how this one kind of goes down, but at the moment, Leprechaun sit on 2-0 map point or match point. It's getting a little bit worrying for eSuba. If they wanted to make a difference, they need to do it here, and it's certainly going to be a hard map against the likes of the Pershing and T32. A lot of HP there. Couple that with the T69 and 3090, there's a lot of firepower as well. It's a hard lineup to break, but you reckon they can do it?
I think they're so much better than eSuba right now. I think it can do it.
Well, let's find out the teams are ready. I think the countdown has begun. So guys, let's get ready for what could possibly be the final map, Prokhorovka. So, welcome into Prokhorovka. Battle number 3. The Leprechauns currently sitting on 2 maps to the good. And in the north, it's going to be eSuba with everything to do. If they don't pick this one up, they are in severe trouble. And the Leprechauns, one more victory. And they've got the win overall. So, what are we going to see from these guys so far?
So, Green Leprechauns heading over right towards the middle as predicted. And eSuba doing the classic northern side tactics, pushing over towards the right. The kind of tree road. Burgett, the KKT Gambo, the 2 hull down tanks in the middle. Going to be trying to do some damage onto T32. If they get early damage, they might do well. But it's probably going to be a quick battle, because Sensei and Kebab Pro are up in the north, and Stanley and Fluky are heading right that way, as well as Los Coscos.
This is going to be a brawl if I've ever seen it. Even on the minimap, you can see the carnage that might kick off any second. Fluky and Stanley not slowing down. Kebab Pro does have shells available. Message gets one in early on towards Los Coscos. First damage done, but Fluky and Stanley moving forward. Sensei goes down, and they're not stopping. They want to find more. At the moment, Message and Snake Eye Finn with Jack are finding the damage towards KKT Gambo and Burgett. But Fluky and Stanley, what are these guys doing?
They're kind of having a little bit of a scenic route, looking for tanks and just being uncoordinated. And look how much damage Burgett takes. He goes down.
This is unbelievable. Those guys are completely out of the battle. Jack might fall, but still, he can fall back into this defilade, leave Message and Snake Eye Finn to move in towards KKT Gambo. Down to a near on one shot. Snake Eye Finn does get in position, does get a reload, gets the shot, gets him down. Stanley on nothing, getting punished by Kirex and Kebab Pro. Fluky looks as though he's going to fall to the similar fate. This is an unbelievable performance from eSuba. Not what you'd want as your defining map here. The last chance, Los Coscos getting pushed around, bullied around by Message and Snake Eye Finn. There's the kill. Fluky and Slavista really the only two can do anything, as Twixo's on the other side of the map. Snake Eye Finn finds a tier 1. And now Fluky, what on earth are you doing?
I have no idea what he's doing. I had no idea what he was doing for like 3 minutes, to be honest. Kabapo's going to get the ram, 217 damage, and only Twixer remains, and he is going to die very quickly. Oh, he could have killed Taholo there, but it's got a few more HP left. So yeah, completely outclassed, I think is the phrase I'll use here.
And there we have it, ladies and gents. Final shell will come from Tahelo. The Leprechauns pick up the 3rd map in... I don't know how quick that was. Can we just check how fast that was? Because that was ridiculous. That was over pretty damn fast. I think, you know, someone's been watching 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
Yeah.
That's considering you have to wait for reload to become available. And look at this. Look at Fluky and Stenley.
Why? I think eSuba just didn't care at this point.
They had to have done, because that's just such a mistake.
Snake Guy Finn, Message, and Jack. All tanks better in that position than anything eSuba has. 3 hull down tanks. One of them is a T-32. You would never put 2 T-69s there because this is the standard tactic. Dream Leprechaun's not doing anything insane. And then Fluky and Stenley go on the scenic route.
Just...
to Mars and back. And
they've done no damage to Kyrex and Kabapro.
Yeah, and then they can just come in and take down Los Coscos later. You know, it made no sense what those two were trying to do. And you know, Jack goes a little bit low, he gets a little bit greedy there. But KKT Gambo is mincemeat for those two as they come in.
Just... eSuba made a complete meal of it. Let's put it that way. Whoever had faith in them, you were wrong. How could you?
58% is...
So, eSuba not really wanting to do much there. You can see why they're a little bit low, let's say, in the scoring.
Well, they're out now.
There you go,
They're
simple as
out
that.
They're out of the league.
Nice.
Replaced by 1st and 2nd from Silver. Well, they replaced by 1st from Silver Series.
So
I
that would
believe.
probably be
GG well played.
GG well played. And that's a bit of a difference in team caliber, let's put it that way. No offense to
That's
eSuba.
an easy potential top 2 team. GG well played.
I'd say top 3 these
Yeah.
days. I haven't seen them in a while.
They're
That's
better
the
than
thing.
School Bus though. They're better than you got you know,
Apple Wow.
Winnie the
come
Pooh,
on.
Ronnie,
Apple Wow.
YR,
Melly.
International.
I'm sorry, Melly is just breaking the studio right now. She's an eSuba fan.
She's the loudest
And
person I've ever met in my life.
Okay, if you ever hear noises in the background, like bottles going everywhere, chairs falling over, pens being thrown, it's Melly.
You're that person who sneaked in at like 2 o'clock in the morning,
And breaks
trying to get
everything in
upstairs,
the way.
and you just trip over like a vase on the way up.
She is literally the worst person to have in the studio. We mute her mic to try and make it better.
If
It
there
makes
was
no
a
difference.
mute button just for the whole entity that is Melly, it'd have been great.
You're so mean. I'm trying.
You're
to
so
be-
loud.
That's not true. My chair was weird, and I
And you
nearly
kicked it or
toppled
what?
over.
Shit,
No,
isn't
no,
it?
no.
Punching chairs doesn't.
I was so close to mine here, so I kind of saved myself in the last second, and that makes some noise. I'm sorry.
How could you?
I'm sorry. I didn't want to break my neck.
Well, that's just rubbish. But no. So we do
afraid
apologise for any sound you hear in the background. It is our delightful
It is
Melly.
me. I'm sorry.
Just throwing stuff around, having a great time. She's, she bet some money on eSuba. It went wrong. She's now going
got
to
a bit
sell a new
annoyed,
car.
yeah,
She's been
yeah.
throwing a chair around a bit. It's pretty disgraceful. She's mostly upset that the WGL EU Season 4 will be coming to an end pretty soon. It's pretty much winding down as we do only have one more playday left.
Yeah, that's coming in
Until the
Thursday.
finals,
And
obviously.
it's a pretty sick play day, to be fair.
Yeah, let's be serious here. We're not going to go into that just yet because we want to know if you guys at home did predict that one right. Because it was pretty damn close, actually. When you let us know at the start, only 58% of you voted for the winners, which is
Mm.
pretty
That's
ridiculous.
That's right. It raised. It was what?
Raised.
Raised.
Yeah.
So it was right in the first try. I should just trust my belly.
What?
You don't know belly
Gut
feeling?
instinct.
Guts.
Oh, okay.
Just my belly instinct.
I said feeling.
Translation from German
That's
to English.
amazing. We love you, mate.
Trust my belly.
sorry.
I'm gonna use that from now on. I
63.
think that's better. I'm using that. Trust
Belly
me-
feeling.
Trust my belly.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how you say it.
I'm not
nothing wrong
sold.
with
So not
that.
sold.
I'll get you there. Don't worry. Well, 63% for drilling applic.
Put it together,
60,
Melly.
64%.
Put it together.
I'm sorry.
Go on, second to last play day and you're breaking down.
I'm sorry. I don't want it to end. That's why. Seriously.
Oh,
What I'll be doing Mondays and Thursdays.
no idea.
Waking up early and going to work. Awesome.
No.
No.
Don't be silly.
Some of us have a real
As
job.
if we would be working. We're just sitting here having fun doing nothing.
Pretty
Hello?
much.
Yes, but back to the vote. People were right. It's 63%, and yeah, they predicted a clear ending. So I think they made up for their first mistake in the first match today.
Really?
Yeah, if I say so, Ollie.
Sorry.
Stop questioning me.
See, this is why I can't
guys.
leave these two. I get
God,
distracted for
I
1
asked
second.
one question, I
and they're
get
bickering
slapped.
away. This is why I have to host it between these two. I'm not actually a host at all or a commentator. I'm a referee between Oliver and Melly. This is terrible.
Restraining order,
I
I
was
think.
Handle your business,
I was
people.
trying to be nice like all day, and then he starts, and then
What?
I have to fire back. I'm sorry. Don't treat me unfair, Ollie.
Wow, it's all coming out now.
I'm not even going to engage in this because it's a long straight road and it's going to go straight to hell. So I'm just leaving it.
Yeah, it's a better choice.
Or just another 10-minute argument, which is
Shall
also
I leave
pointless.
and leave you two to just bicker? Or...
which you'll lose eventually, so that's why he's
Well,
not
it's
even
2 versus
starting
1,
it.
so it's just
Oh,
pointless.
oh, I'm trying to stop this. Come on, guys, let's just calm down.
Right.
But yeah, people were right. Congratulations and thank you for voting. I will announce the winners in a bit. And yeah.
Is that
No
okay by you?
questions for question time with Melly. I'm kind of sad.
Oh,
Yes. Oh no. Hillbilly, Hillybilly, how I call him. Hillybilly
Hello,
wants to
Hillbilly.
know why can't they play each map once from each side just to balance it out?
why do you want us to be here for 4 years? Is how I respond to you.
Yeah, it's
Because
Because,
he likes
okay,
us.
The
Because he
reason
likes
it works
us.
in other games is because you have an incentive to attack
yeah.
when there's a defending side. In this, in theory, there's no incentive to do so because both sides are equal in the fact that there's no defenders or attackers. So therefore, it means that the defending team who would ever take the more defensive stance would have the advantage of the fact that they'll get the better shell first, therefore creating the better setup. So even if you do both sides, whoever sets the fastest time, which is generally stopwatch, would be the team that defended and took the shells off the team who attacked, trying to make the fastest time, which means the insta factor, the team that camps the most, who gets the damage done the most, even though the other team made the best attempt, it would still work in the passive team's favour. So until there's an incentive for an attacking team to actually attack, i.e. search and destroy mode or something that would incentivize it as a time limit, for example, otherwise the defensive mode wins, there has to be a lot of changes for it to work. It can't just be like, hey, try it twice and see if that works. Sadly, not the case.
Nope.
Just going to put it out there, because I remember when we used to play maps until there was a winner.
Yeah.
Good times,
We had
good
11. We had
times.
11 times on Prokhorovka once. That was a nightmare.
Yeah, so that is not allowed to happen anymore for the sake of us going
Sanity.
absolutely mad.
Exactly.
Saying, Ollie, take me through the viable options of every single bush on Prokhorovka and what it means if they sit in there.
Yeah, we did that, but then we went on.
That
to,
was like the
to
sixth
And then
time
you went
stuff.
over to Spackball.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got Spag Bowl tonight, just letting you know.
Have you?
Yeah.
I got paprika crisps.
They were on the desk
and
somewhere.
and shul. I know it's
Schorle.
Schorle.
Apfelschorle. It's not that hard.
Apfelschorle.
You sound like you've got a lisp, it's great.
See, look, 2 versus 1. I told you it's going to turn into that.
Hey, look.
Every
always
time Ollie's speaking German, his German is pretty decent. People don't burst into laughter when they
I
hear him
just
speak.
don't speak German around you because you just immediately start laughing at me.
Because it's so cute.
No,
That's
it's
why.
not.
Because your voice, I don't know, it sounds much higher when you try to speak German.
Really?
And you're well, it's basically like a little child is trying to speak, and that's really cute. So I'm not being mean. I'm laughing with you,
So many jokes.
not about you.
Alrighty, are we done right
Yeah,
now?
we're
Are we
done.
good?
They're done.
Melly, if people do want to keep up to date with everything going on in the WGLEU, where can they find all the information?
Well, of course, our website eu.wgleague.net, where the schedule and all the big announcements are made, and of course our Facebook and Twitter platforms with just facebook.com/WGLEU and twitter.com/WGLEU. Also, the VODs are uploaded on youtube.com/WGLEU, and don't forget to follow our Twitch channel, twitch.tv./WGLEU, which
pretty-
you're
pretty
actually
simple.
watching right now. Don't forget to hit the follow button to get a notification as soon as we're going live. It's very important since you get an email, you get a pop-up, you can't miss anything. And yeah, what else do we have? That was pretty much all.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. So if you do follow all those platforms, you won't miss any single minute of our lovely production, which is always highly professional.
Nailed it. Alrighty, guys, you can kind of tell our season is coming to an end because our jobs are probably going to come to an end as well after this show. But even regardless of that, we still have one more play day, one final play day. And whoever scheduled this just made the best games at the very end, I'm pretty sure.
Steven.
So starting off, School Bus against Virtus Pro. So Virtus Pro, the undefeated champions Neron of this season so far, against School Bus, who started off a little shaky and then built into being pretty damn phenomenal, challenging and beating some of the very top teams, excluding Virtus Pro. But we finally get to find out who's going to come out better in that, because these two have had back and forth throughout the previous seasons. It was, who's first and who's second, who's attending the event, who's not. It literally was between those two neck and neck. But I think this season Virtus Pro have been pretty much a little bit better.
We'll finally see if anyone can come close to Virtus Pro. They nailed Kazna Crew 3-0 in
horrific fashion.
5 minutes. Literally the whole game time was 5 minutes. It's less than the average of just one map.
Yep.
So if School Bus can challenge them, we might have a challenger. Or Virtus Pro and School Bus could say, I don't want to give any of my tactics away, and we could see a completely different kind of gameplay.
I wouldn't even be surprised either. This close to the offline finals, both qualified. It's got to be an option.
And also School Bus, they can't take first. They're stuck at second. 27 points to 22.
So they have no reason to necessarily...
No reason. Yeah.
Interesting things. We're going to have to keep our eyes on it, because we've seen School Bus fighting hard, coming out with some new interesting tactics prior to now. We'll have to see what sort of style they come out with. Will Applewell be playing? He has been, in and out this season, sometimes featured, sometimes not. We'll have to wait and see, but it's going to be a phenomenal game regardless. And then following that, the grudge match of the year, Kaz and Crew up against Denial. Previously, I'd say it was, not a grudge match, but certainly two very good opponents going head-to-head. The fact that Elian now joined Kazna and now Denial have slipped down to Neron last place without him, their previous team captain, there's got to be some bad blood there to an extent.
Yeah, there definitely is. I know Denial are gutted that they lost Elian. Doesn't matter what they say, they're definitely gutted. A big loss for them.
Yep.
And, it does mean a lot to them as well, because they don't want to be sitting down in 10th. They want to be moving up, just as far away from the automatic relegation zone as possible and against the easiest team possible. They're going to be playing between 3 and 5th of the Silver League, so could be interesting as well.
Yeah, a lot depends on that, and it's going to be a very interesting game, to say the least. So, if not for the first game, it has to be for the second game. I don't know what my match of the day is going to be, because gameplay-wise, it's going to be the first.
Yeah.
Storyline and grudge match-wise, it's going to be the second, and then even a classic matchup to end off with EPS up against TCM. It's an unbelievable play day.
For me, that's the best matchup, TCM EPS, because I think they're the closest in terms of just ability.
Yeah,
and we're going to definitely see it at the offline finals, looking at the seeding, so it could give us a little bit of an inkling. But at the same time, just like Virtus Pro School Bus, they don't want to be giving anything away at this point.
Yeah, it's getting to that point in the season, or the very end of the season, where everything matters. Practice can't just happen against the same teams, because they're the teams you're about to face in official, money-worthy games that will cost you a lot if you give it away early. So, at the moment, that last play day, a lot of question marks will be around it. Who's going to be outperforming the other? Who's going to be on point? Can Denial get that fire to take down their previous team captain, Elian, who joined over on the Kazna Crew side, who they'll be facing off with, possibly to decide their fate towards the next season. So guys, a lot of questions and a lot of answers will be coming in on Thursday the 31st of July, so do make sure you're tuning into this Twitch TV page on all the social media that Melly told you about before, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. Do make sure you get involved, because guys, it's going to be an incredible final play day. We're going to be here, and I hope you guys will be as well.